the significance of divine love in sacred marriage, in union, or in a partnership on its own. This lies in the capacity to align our human relationships with the divine. This is how the transformation from the personal partnership transforms and transcends into a spiritual practice. The spiritual practice becomes the sadhana. The relationship becomes the sadhana itself. So the sacred union is built on mutual respect and love, and free from the ego or judgment, the ego I, that core fixation that in itself is all about judgment and division and separation. So let us take a step back into the history of marriage. Let us look at that at first and see how it has evolved over this millennia, how it shaped the culture, the economy, how it was shaped by religious forces and lineages, especially in the ancient times, like in Egyptian times, over 3000 BC, marriages were often contractual. They were there to secure certain properties, certain alliances. Then if we look at the Greeks and Romans later on in 800 BC to 400, they formalized unions further for social stability, for emphasizing dowries and paternal consents, though love was always a secondary thing. And this is how marriages birthed. Love was always a secondary thing. Then later on in the medieval European times, there were arranged marriages dominated for political and economical gains. And further on, by the time in the Renaissance, an early modern period of 1500 to the 1800s, it became more and more based on a mutual affection. This began to emerge slowly. This companionship marriage type started to slowly become more and more, let's say, infused in this contractual marriage certifications, so to speak. Further on in the 19th century, there were some further legal reformations taking place. Here is where we have seen where the women were given slightly more rights. And further into the 20th century, there was a furthermore revolution in marriages where it was more and more love-based unions. It became more and more the most important, why two beings come together in the first place. So this was a whole great time of transformational ideas of what marriages were even created for. Nowadays, majority of humanity come together, yes, because of attraction, yes, because of love, But we also have to look at the degree of this love and affection and the underlying strings, what brings this forward within two beings. So most commonly we are aware of people coming together because of physical attractions, physical connections, and people with a bit more of depth within them, they come together because of an emotional connection. Yeah, that's another step, feeling an emotional connection with. Even deeper than that, people come together because they feel some energetic connections and further deeper soul connections. And this can also be a transformative change as well, because it can change from physical connection to emotional, and then from emotional to energetic, more spiritual connections. Of course, connections can become together because of past karmas that people simply need to meet to resolve past karmas, and then sometimes it needs to move on in different directions. Or other times, two souls come together, resolve karma, and they further transcend to the highest form of a connection, which is actually beyond connection, which is the divine union, or even more precisely, divine oneness. Because in divine, it is already one. So relationships, according to the willingness of each soul, can further transform and grow and transcend, and the relationship can change from these connections into the one divine true abidance, which that is the highest form.